Last night we had 3 games on ESPN. Each of these games had at least one player ranked in the top 5 of their respective class. A lot of big names were playing. Today I do want to talk about each of these games and what I saw from these prospects and takeaways that I did have. But before we do get into today's video, if you're part of the 85% that watch my videos and don't subscribe, or you just happen to be new and like what you see, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I release a video. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so doing all those things would be a big help to me. With that being said, let's get right into the video. The first game I want to talk about is the Lake Norman versus Oak Hill game. Oak Hill would win this game 83-66. Mikey Williams, Lake Norman's top 3 sophomore in the country, had 24 points to lead all scorers, and MJ Rice, the top 10 junior for Oak Hill, had 17 points. Mikey was solid in this game. He was somebody that was really good in the first half, I would say. He drew a lot of fouls, things like that. And the thing is with Mike, I think people believe he's a ball hog. I don't think he's a ball hog necessarily. I think he's just struggling to know when to facilitate and when to score. You know, at times he was too aggressive and took bad shots, but other times I don't think he was necessarily aggressive enough. There were times he passed up on the open break when he should have taken it to the hole, things like that, but he'll learn from these things over time. Oak Hill was just a better team. They were bigger, faster, stronger, more athletic team, as you would expect, because Oak Hill is one of the best teams in the country. They're well coached, and they just attract high-level recruits year in and year out. It was like watching Zane vs. Cyrus, when you kind of knew Oak Hill was going to win, but there were moments that the underdog looked like it had a chance to win. You know, Lake Norman kind of looked lost without Mikey at times. They turned the ball over a lot, which killed them as well. And it did seem like Oak Hill was playing down to the competition. You know, for the most part, up until like the final few minutes of that fourth quarter, that game looked like it could have gone either way. And it was a lot closer, and it shouldn't have been, because Oak Hill was clearly the better team. And it felt like Oak Hill should have been up by 20 the entire game, but there were times it looked like Lake Norman was going to take the lead. But other than that, you know, Mikey, of course, was good. MJ Rice was really good. He's proven he's one of the better players in the junior class. But I will say that this doesn't really change my opinion on Mikey, or really at all, because I still think he's the number 3 player in the sophomore class, and he's definitely worthy of that spot. But overall, it was just a bigger, better team won. But I do feel like Oak Hill did play down to the competition a bit. The second game I want to talk about is between Team Sizzle and Yipsy Prep. Team Sizzle would win this game 78-71. It was a game that was highlighted by the 2 players that are ranked number 1 in their class by ESPN, that being Chet Holmgren, the number 1 player in the senior class by ESPN, and Emoni Bates, the number 1 junior in the country according to ESPN. Chet Holmgren had his best game that I've seen him play. He had 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks. Oddly enough, I think the blocks were down a bit. He is someone that can get double-digit blocks with ease. That's not even a joke. Go look up his stats. They're insane on that end of the floor. He's one of the best shot blockers I've ever seen. But he was taking over on offense as well, which is something that I like to see. No one on Yipsy Prep could guard him. He was taking guys off the dribble. He was hitting 3-pointers. He was really showing his unicorn-type skills that has ESPN ranking him number 1. Now, I don't have him ranked number 1 in this class. I think he's number 3, but he showed why he's a special player regardless. But I would still say Emoni is better than him, and here's why. Chet played a great game, but I felt like that was his best game I've seen him play. Emoni Bates had 36 points and 10 rebounds. And I still thought he could have been a lot better. That's how good he is. You know, at times he did settle for tough jumpers and did rush things a bit. But honestly, I don't think the guards on his team were helping him out that much. Emoni would have like Josie Miller on him, and his guards would try to attack the paint even though Chet was working instead of giving the ball to Emoni at times. However, Emoni did not show a lot on defense. Chet really had his way with him. And that's something he'll need to work on, because it looked like physically that Emoni had a good 10 to 15 pounds on Chet, but Chet was still able to bully him. But, we'll see. Again, both these guys are young, so they have time to improve on those things. I do like what I saw from Jaden Atkins on Yipsy Prep. He showed some nice ball movement skills, and I really like his ability to create shots and things like that. He was impressive to me. He had one play where he was able to shield off Chet Holmgren, which is not easy to do, so that was impressive. But overall, it was really fun to watch Chet versus Emoni. Both of these guys played really well. It was like watching Tyson versus Kai, or Yugi versus Kaiba in Battle City, or Zuko versus Zula. But the thing is, basketball is not a one-on-one game. And I'll be honest, Team Sizzle just wanted it more than Yipsy Prep. The final game of the night was between Aeronato and CBC. Aeronato would win this game 89-83. This was by far the best game of the night. Jaden Hardy, the number 4 senior in the country, was incredible. He had 39 points. 20 of those points were coming in the first half. He shot 7 for 16 from 3. He keeps on showing that's why he's the best scoring guard in the country. He was drawing 1 to 2 help defenders almost every time he touched the ball, and he still was relatively efficient. He never gave up, which I think was the thing that impressed me the most. He had great body language throughout the entire game. Even when his team was down, he really just showed great leadership qualities, which I always look for in prospects, especially highly ranked prospects. And he had 2 big threes in the key and one down the final stretch of this game that helped his team win. Another guy for Aeronato that was impressive was Frankie Collins, the 4-star guard that's going to be playing for Juwan Howard next year. He made some really good passes. He finished well around the rim. Both of these guys showed great leadership qualities in this game, and there was a big reason why Aeronato won. On the other side for CBC, which was also really impressive, you had Amari Bailey, who was the big name. He had 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. He's really good. He's super athletic, and I still think he's trying to put it all together as far as skill-wise goes, but I think it's definitely trending upward for him and putting it all together. But he's someone that it's finally his team. He's somebody that's been on Sierra Canyon since he was a freshman, which is kind of rare considering a lot of the top-ranked guys you see from Sierra Canyon are guys that have transferred in from other schools, but he's been there since he was a freshman. In his freshman year, he was behind Cassius Stanley and KJ Martin and Scottie Pippen Jr. And then in his sophomore year, he was behind BJ Boston and Zaire Williams. But now it's finally his team, and he's going to be the main guy. And I expect more stat lines like this from him throughout the rest of the year. He showed off his athleticism, which is elite, obviously. Shai Odom, he is one of the better players in the junior class as well. He had a 20-point game. I'm a big fan of him. He's from Massachusetts. I have a lot of respect for him. Then Bronny James, he did have trouble guarding Frankie and Jaden, but who doesn't have trouble guarding them? They're 2 of the better guards in the country. I really liked his passing on the fast break. That was really impressive. I think he's just scratching the surface of his potential as a player. And I think he's just going to get better and better and rise up the rankings. Again, this is his first year as a starter. And, of course, he didn't start last year because of how low the team was. But he's finally getting his chance to start now. But overall, it was a fun game. It was going down to the wire. Guys were hitting tough shots left and right. And it was a really good way to end the night. I had 4 big takeaways from these games. The first one being that Mikey Williams is a very good player, one of the best in the sophomore class, and it's quite obvious he's really talented. But I think what I'm really impressed by is he's obviously trying to become a more complete player and is working to improve and become a more complete player. This was the first time he really was on a more system-oriented team where he just wasn't given the ball all the time. And I think that he realizes that. I think he's trying to improve as a passer to be a more complete guard. But the thing is, it's not really about if he's a ball hog or not for me. For me, it's about where does he need to do and does he know what he needs to do in certain situations. there were times throughout that game that he was being aggressive and taking bad shots when he should have been passing to an open teammate or things like that. But there were other times I was watching that game where I felt like he was being too passive and was supposed to be more aggressive. So I think it's finding that balance of knowing when to be passive and when to be aggressive with him. But if he continues to work on being a more complete guard, I have no doubts that he's going to be really good, and he's going to prove to people that think he's going to fall off the rankings in a few years wrong, because I truly believe this is a talented player with a bright future. The second thing that I wanted to talk about that I noticed is Chet Holmgren is less of a project than I thought he was. He's somebody early on, I think because of the frame, I think, he really wasn't known as a scorer. Again, he was playing next to Jalen Suggs, so that might have a lot to do with it. But he's showing me now that he can score, and he can be a high-level scorer. I do think he needs to add weight to his frame still, but other than that, I really don't think there's much to be concerned about. He also showed a lot of flashes as a passer in this game against FC Prep as well, which was something that I was impressed by. I think he's really good. I have him rated number 3 in the senior class on my personal rankings. I don't know if he's quite on the level of Paulo and AJ, but he's still really good. And that honestly is just more of a testament to how good those two are than it's about Chet, because Chet is an elite prospect. The third thing I wanted to talk about was Emoni Bates, who is the real deal. He is worth the hype. He is the closest thing, I believe, to a next Kevin Durant we can get. Even then, I don't think that we'll ever get a next Kevin Durant, because there's only one Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is really one of a kind. But I do see a bit of Kevin Durant in his game. I think the most impressive thing was, I would say, if I had to give his game last night a grade, it would be a B+. And he was really good. But again, 36 points and 10 rebounds. And the thing is, his B+ game is a lot of guys' A+ game. And that just goes to show you how talented of a player he is. And the final thing I want to bring up is Jaden is the best scorer in high school basketball right now, in my opinion. He did settle at times for tough shots, but he did know when to pass out most of the time. And I think he does have a good grasp of the gravity he has as a scorer. And it's very telling about how good he is when he's able to draw multiple help defenders every time he touches the ball. And again, it isn't like he's going up against bad teams. He's going up against teams that are loaded with 4- and 5-star guards, and they can't handle him. That goes to show you how good he is. But that is the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. If you haven't already, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I release a video, uploading every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me know down in the comment section below, what did you notice about the games? Did you enjoy the games? Of those 3 games, if you did watch them, what was your favorite game? I would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. And with that being said, have a nice day.